We do have 63 hotels in Canada with 13,000 rooms, and David got the numbers right. We're almost 3,700 hotels in 71 countries. We were in 72, but we closed our hotel in Tripoli 3 days after it opened, about 6 weeks ago. So we have 3 hotels here in Halifax with about 600 rooms, and very proud of our operations here. I've been fortunate through the years to work with a tremendous group of executives. In 1979, we moved into a new headquarters building in Bethesda, and one of our security analysts visited us, and I was taking him to the airport, and he said, "You have a beautiful new office building. I hope you'll fill it with people who are smarter than you are." And I said, "That's never been a problem, and I've done my best to do just that." We got in the airline catering business in 1937 when my father was standing by the counter in a hot shop he had across from the old Hoover Airport in Washington. People were coming in and buying boxed lunches, and he said, "What are you buying those lunches for?" And they said, "We're putting them on the airplane because we're flying to Miami or New York or Boston on a DC-3. There's no food service." So a few days later, he flew to Miami and met with Eddie Rickenbacker and convinced him to put food on Eastern Airlines. So today, when you get lousy food on airplanes, you can credit it to my father, who really started the airline catering business back in 1938. When we opened our first hotel, we had a good company with a strong foundation of caring for people. My father hired a doctor back in 1932 when nobody else was providing health care. His people were getting sick, and he wanted to take care of them. Later, he found out they were having a lot of surgeries, so he put a surgeon on the payroll in 1940. He cared for them greatly, and when they were sick, he visited them. When they were in trouble, he got them out of trouble. When they wanted someone to talk, he listened to them. And he really believed and set the standard for our philosophy of our culture today, which is take good care of the associates, they'll take good care of the customer, and the customer will come back. I remember going over to the first hotel with him, probably around 1965 or so. He had a meeting with a bunch of bankers over there, and he walked into the lobby, and the housekeeper was busy cleaning the lobby. And we were a little late for the meeting, but he went over and he talked to the housekeeper, and he said, "How are things going?" "No," she said, "Fine." He said, "No, really, how are they going?" She said, "Well, I'll tell you." So he sat down on a little couch and started talking to her. Of course, her feet hurt. She wasn't getting enough hours. Healthcare wasn't as good as they thought it would be. The food in the cafeteria wasn't very good. Her boss wasn't listening to what she had to say. So when he got all through these concerns and problems, he asked the general manager to come over, repeated them to him. He said, "Take good care of this young lady." He went off to his meeting. He was 20 minutes late. He told the bankers, "I'm sorry that I was late, but I had a very important person I had to talk to." When I was 32, 6 years later, 10 years later, I guess, my father sucked it up, took a very deep breath, and recommended to the board of directors that I be named president of the company. And when he did, he wrote me a long letter and concluded with some guideposts that I'd like to read to you today. He gave this to me in a letter. He published it in his book, and I think they're good for anybody, particularly any family business. He said, "First, keep physically fit, mentally and spiritually strong. Second, guard your habits. Bad ones will destroy you. Next, people are number one. Their development, loyalty, interest, team spirit. Develop managers in every area. Development is your prime responsibility. Next, men grow up making decisions and assuming responsibility for them. Let them make decisions that affect them. Make crystal clear what decisions each manager is responsible for and what decisions that you're going to make yourself. Have all the facts and counsel necessary, then decide and stick to it. As this salesman demonstrates, it's important to listen and ask the right question and act." Thank you all for listening. It's fun, exciting, and every day challenging in this hospitality business. My only advice, don't go to any business unless you really fall in love with it. If you enjoy what you're doing, you'll be successful, you'll have a great time, and you'll be blessed. Thanks, and be glad to answer any questions you have.